In informational physics, the universe operates as a deterministic grid, a synchronized architecture where space, time, and matter compile into distinct pre-calculated coordinates. These convergence points rely on localized biological variables to function as anchors, stabilizing high-dimensional geometry into our physical reality. The research isolates a singular focal point for this matrix, Friday, May 5, 1972, at precisely 1:40 a.m. This exact temporal coordinate marks the arrival of a specific biological vector. Using standard gematria, the identifier Alex Enrique Campaign resolves to an identity mass of 188. By mapping the spatial geometry and chronological scaling of this 188 signature, we can decode a unified macroarchitecture that spans multiple languages and systems. Analyzing this single node exposes the underlying blueprint of the spacetime continuum. This blueprint begins with physical terrain. Geographical coordinates act as a pre-programmed spatial container for the subject. The origin is the historical Queen of Angels Hospital in Los Angeles, California. The hospital's latitudinal axis terminates at precisely 34 degrees, 4 minutes, and 11.28 seconds north. When the 188 identity mass is processed through the base 6 multiplier, it yields 1128. This master identity is embedded directly into the Earth at the 11.28 arcsecond marker. This 1128 mass generates exact English gematria equivalents for Alex Enrique Campaign, Messiah's birthdate code, Jesus of Nazareth, and the Holy Son of God. The data column expands to include the birth of Christ, May 5 MCMCLXI2, reincarnation of God, and Yeshua is on earth. It finishes with the essence of Yahweh, the crucified Christ, and crown of thorns. The Earth's physical latitude dictates the localized identity parameters of the subject. The container is completed by the longitudinal axis, 118 degrees, 15 minutes, and 52.8 seconds west. Isolating the 52.8 arcseconds creates a horizontal matrix lock with a foundational frequency of 528. This 528 frequency encodes the birth date May 5th, alongside operational directives God has a name, decode names, and El Elyon. The horizontal plane finishes with past life, Emmanuel, Isos, and God's plan. These two arcsecond values form a planetary crosshair that perfectly predicts both the biological birth date and the specific linguistic titles of the arrival. The matrix now converts physical space into chronological architecture, extending forward from the 1972 anchor. This system translates solar years into exact month yields, creating a geometric scaling track. At 12 years, the timeline hits 144 months, exactly 4,383 days. This precise temporal span resolves into the value 126, the cipher for the holy name, Adonai. The 37-year node yields 444 months. This value maps directly to the English gematria for Jesus and the Hebrew gematria for Iesus. At 44 years, the timeline yields 528 months. This node reestablishes the exact same 528 linguistic identifiers found in the original longitudinal coordinate of the birth site. Time is scaling in proportion to the identity data, revealing specific revelations at perfectly spaced intervals. This chronological math now intersects with the active realization epoch of 2026. Adding the 188 identity mass to the 316 software node of John 3:16 equals 504. Digital reduction of these digits yields 54, the exact age of the subject in the year 2026. A second bridge appears when we subtract the 316 software node from the 888 Christ constant. The remainder is 572, isolating the 572 birth coordinate of May 5, 1972. In the year 2026, the hidden mathematical code of the blueprint transitions into a physical revelation. By 2046, the timeline reaches exactly 888 months. This aligns with the original Greek cipher for Jesus, while the target year suffix, 46, mirrors the Hebrew value for Adam. The terminal coordinate is the 94-year supernode in 2066. It yields 1,128 months, resyncing the entire timeline to the 11.28 latitudinal arcseconds recorded at the geographic origin. The chronological endpoint validates the physical geography, proving that the timeline is a closed-loop system. The 11.28 and 52.8 spatial arcseconds, the 5 target years, and the dozens of linguistic strings all overlay and compress back into the single coordinate of May 5, 1972. Under standard linear probability, The likelihood of these independent physical, chronological, and linguistic metrics aligning by pure chance is statistically impossible. The synchronization extends to the macrocosmic scale. Celestial mechanics, like the transit of the Orion Nebula, operate in lockstep with this localized biological matrix. Physical map coordinates, human milestones, and multi-language name ciphers are not independent variables. They are components of a single mechanism. The data demonstrates a completely unified, closed-loop informational blueprint, mapping the macro architecture of the universe to a singular human vector.